right. Item one, call to order the Planning Commission meeting being held Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 at 6:01 probably.
Alderperson Kastner,
Present.
Steve Rogers,
I'm here.
Brian Weiss,
Present.
Don Carlson is excused, working elections, Dave Schills is excused, Bob Krenz,
Here.
Mike Braswell,
Present.
Daniel Woljak,
Present.
and Mayor Knightsky is excused.
This is probably a good opportunity to officially thank Dave for his service, and he is all the time he has spent here, so that should be noted in the record.
Yes.
Item two, approval of the minutes from the July 12th, 2022 meeting. Motion.
Make a motion to approve. I'll second that.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, motion carries unanimously. We're all voting, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes,
Yep.
correct, everyone is.
We all get the vote. Item three, discussion regarding last common council meeting.
I was not here, but I was out of town. Poor Andrew ran the council meeting, and it lasted almost till midnight.
Yeah, it lasted a long time.
But there were many public hearings. The 5 listed here, actually, every single one did pass and was approved by the Common Council. A lot of people showed up for the planned unit development rezoning for 92nd and Cold Spring. There was some misinformation being spread in the community about low-income housing, and so a lot of people came, and it was clarified that that's not what was proposed at that location and with the rezoning. But yes, they all did pass after a lengthy meeting.
Yeah. We did a lot of informing that night. Item 4A and 4B, special use review and site plan review for an ownership change at existing BP gas station and convenience store located at 4715 South 27th Street, submitted by Allies Investment LLC. Tax key is noted.
Thank you. This is an ownership change for the gas station at the southwest corner of 27th and Layton. The owner, the new owner will be actually the same owner of the gas station on Layton and 84th, the southeast corner. And with an ownership change, it goes through the special use review process, no public hearing. And he's proposing roughly 3 to 5 employees. The hours of operation will remain the same, 24/7. And the site does have some overgrown maintenance concerns that staff noticed when visiting the site. We are recommending that a letter be submitted that the site will be in compliance with the approved landscaping plan that we have on file by May of next year. And we recommend to expedite this to next week's Common Council meeting.
I have a problem with the May of 2023. It looks like that's something that happens every darn year. I mean, if you're not putting wood chips out and maintaining
do it
your
sooner?
beds,
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's an annual thing.
it's an annual thing. And if you're not going to do it until next year, that means you're not going to do the next year to the next year
Yeah.
until you get this. I mean, I'd be embarrassed if that was my house
At least maybe fall.
by fall. I mean,
That's what I suggest.
You want to give me an exact date? I'll put in the minutes.
November 1st.
I'll say October 30th, it's Halloween.
Yeah, or
October 15th, so what you just said?
I said the Halloween, October 31st, but yeah.
Okay, October 31st.
that works.
whose motion is it?
I'll make a motion to approve, changing the date to October 31st for the wood chip maintenance
October 31st of this year.
of 2022.
22. And I'll second it.
That's for the site plan review and change of ownership and a special use
Yeah, no, that's,
Oh.
thank you.
ownership change, yeah. All in favor of 4A and 4B?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 5A and 5B, special use permit to establish a drinking place within the Woods Greater Life Senior Community located at 11800-02 West Edgerton, submitted by Greg Piotrowski, doing business as GL Pop Comp / Green LLC, as well as B, site and architectural plans for proposed construction of said gazebo.
Thank you, Alderperson Kastner. This is a flyover actually from a month ago, so you can see a lot of progress being made at this site. It's a large site. And Mr. Petrowski has pre-leased already 17 units and is asking prospective tenants what type of amenities would you like to provide. And more often than not, one of the amenities people would like is, a place to gather with friends or family where they would be allowed to socially drink. And there are some very complicated state statutes affiliated with liquor licenses that, when combined with a use like this, rather than like a hotel or a restaurant, a use like this is required to have a separate, non-attached entry and exit for that drinking establishment. So with that, their proposal is to build a separated gazebo on the patio area. That's the yellow square that you see here. This is the independent living senior, the larger southern building. And so this is just kind of a zoomed in site plan showing where the gazebo would be located. It's small, it's 20 by 12. They would have just a small bar area and a locked area, to keep the drinks and other products that would need to be secured. And then it would be constructed of materials to match the residential buildings of niche half fiber cement with a wood look. And the requested hours of operation would be 12 to 10. A licensed bartender would need to be present when this operation is in use. And I originally had in the staff report a public hearing could be scheduled as early as September 20th. Mr. Petrowski just came up and said he's out of town, so he would ask that we would schedule that for October 4th instead. But staff recommends moving forward with a public hearing and recommends common council approval.
I'm all in favor of this, but is it big enough for the size of the number of tenants? It's 12 by 20. This is, one-car garage. I mean, when you put in perspective.
Where's the sorry.
That's my only concern. I actually
Why?
think it's too small.
I guess my concern is so make sure they get the liquor license to include the patio area.
Yeah.
That was my
And
question.
maybe that's what it is, just because
Oh, we gotta make sure yeah.
I'm just concerned it's too small.
And then is it on a rental basis too? Not that it may necessarily matter, but is it on a rental basis or is it all the time?
Yeah, it's.
The hours of operation 12 to 10.
And now you can have one of the staff
Oh.
who
Is that
has
gonna
to be
be-
licensed also.
I think that'll be fine.
I'm
I'm Greg.
curious.
Yeah, the intention was to include the patio area as part of the amenities, so the whole entire patio would be included with the gazebo for areas where alcohol could be consumed.
When
By
you
the
apply the liquor
residents.
license, make sure you include that.
Yes, I believe we did, but we'll double check to make sure. Thank
Perfect,
you.
yeah. That was my biggest concern, it's just with the size of it, it's just too small to, you can have a dozen people in there, beyond that, gets a little crowded.
It's crazy, but there are a lot of rules about distances and things, and this was the best that we could possibly do to offer the amenity for the residents.
Fair enough.
But the patio will be included in our license application.
No, I think it's a great idea, absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
So we're approving the special use permit to establish a drinking place and the architectural plans for the construction. Who's the second?
I'll second. Go, Dan.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Item 6, architectural plans for proposed exterior modification to Rosen Nissan of Greenfield, an existing business located at 5505 South 27th Street, submitted by Jim Turnick, doing business as Sullivan Design Builds.
Thank you, Alderperson Kastner. Rosen Nissan on 27th Street is proposing facade improvements to meet the Nissan image standards. And there's no proposed expansion of the building. They're also doing some interior remodeling, almost 9,000 square feet of that. So what you can see here is the before and after. The red indicates the demolition of exterior facade, along with a picture of how it exists today. They're proposing new aluminum composite material panels. Again, that's the Nissan's new look, and you can see that they're also expanding some of the size of the window shapes. Like here, they're removing the knee wall and the windows going down to the actual ground level. They are not reducing window openings anywhere on the building. And in the back area, they're just repainting the metal panels. So the east front facade, again, the red indicates the demolition, and then you can see the expansion of the windows and the new ACM panels. The south elevation, same idea going there, and then in the rear, there's just a metal paneling that they're painting in the back. The site is in really good shape. Staff recommends approval and to be expedited to next week's common council meeting. There's one dead tree in the back, that's all. It's
It's
in good shape.
hard to find anything. I'll make a motion to approve the plans as presented with the tree replacement as planned.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Item 7A and 7B, special use permit for Alba Coffee Shop and site and architectural plans for Alba Coffee Shop, a proposed coffee business to be located at 4353 South 27th Street, submitted by Maria Van Helnoos. Oh, geez, I messed that one up. Van Vallan.
Villanueva.
Is
I
that what
think.
it is?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. This applicant is proposing to occupy about 1,800 square feet for a coffee, non-alcoholic beverage bar, smoothies, teas at the former Rich's House of Cakes. Part of the space is currently occupied with a new commercial business tenant, I believe a tax or insurance business. But this requires a special use permit and a public hearing. Their proposed hours of operation would be 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 7 to 3 over the weekend. They are seeking a waiver to do some exterior building modifications to rebuild that deck in the front within the front yard setback. That is something that the Plan Commission may waive. And then they're going to build a new ADA ramp along the south elevation here in the parking lot. They do anticipate repainting the whole building with an earth tone color. And then removal, there's a bay window on the south side of the building, and replace it with just a single pane insulated window. So this is the bay window here on the south side that we're talking about, and the front deck that would be rebuilt. Staff recommends the parking lot be restriped. It's very difficult to see where the parking spaces actually are, and place bollards around that gas meter in the front for safety purposes. Staff recommends a lighting plan and removal of the non-compliant lighting on the building. It's been quite a while since any updates have been made to this building, and recommends to hold a public hearing September 20th.
The deck is, timeline on the deck is going to be rebuilt before occupancy? It really is kind of vague.
I don't think so. The applicant's here. Do you want to come up to the podium? And if you could please state your name and address so we can put that in the minutes.
Mike Karalevich, just on behalf of Christina, she's a business partner of mine. She's just out of town. My address, I'm in Muskego, W158S7480, Quietwood Drive. Yeah, the deck will be part of the construction plans. We will have that redone before occupancy, just because of safety. Yeah, that thing is, it's a relic.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah, very old, so. Yeah, just for safety precautions, we're gonna rebuild that thing.
Okay, thank you.
Was there no recommendation on the signage at all?
I think that Andrew addressed
Yeah,
that.
the pylon's going away according to.
Yes,
Going away?
yep.
That's affirmative, yes. We'll have all new signage. So I don't know if you guys, I mean, the historic rich cakes, we're trying to get rid of it, so. I don't know if you guys want it for any kind of historical thing, but
Been a long time, I'll tell you that.
it has been.
Rich Cakes used to be in that corner all the time at any special event, I know that much.
Yep, exactly. So,
Sure the mayor will take it. Save it for him.
yeah,
Anyone else want to take a stab at it?
I'll make a motion to approve as stated with, yeah, just make a motion to approve it.
Deck completed before occupancy, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Glad to have you in Wisconsin, in Greenfield, where we are. We need more coffee shops and smoothie shops. I'm very excited about that.
It sounds like a fun place, too.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it does. 8A and 8B, special use permit for OP Spa, a proposed massage therapy business to be located at 6835 West Layton Avenue, submitted by OP Spas. And the site plan review for OP Spas, a proposed that I just stated. I don't think this is going to go too far.
Thank you, Alderperson Kastner. This applicant is proposing to occupy about 2,500 square feet within the multi-tenant commercial building here on the corner of 69th and Layton on the south side of Layton for a massage therapy business. There would be one business manager and 2 licensed massage therapists. Their proposed hours of operation would be 9 to 9 daily. There were some site condition concerns when staff visited the site. You can see the poured curb has just, been damaged over time from snow plows, and then we have a damaged sidewalk. With this type of use, we typically send the applicant information to the Greenfield Police Department for background checks. The Greenfield Police Department expressed red flags and concerns with background checks to an original applicant whose name was on the application. Then a new name was submitted with a new application with very limited information, but they were able to make some sort of affiliation with other businesses in other states. The Greenfield Police Department, with the background check, how they came back is recommending denial of the special use permit. However, a public hearing would continue on through the process on September 20th.
I'll make a motion to deny based on the police reports that have come back, and if approved, the light site and landscaping needs to be completed.
And I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the denial?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. I'm only on 9. Why do you think I was on 10? Special use permit for Greater Milwaukee Oral Surgery, a proposed dental business to be located at 6800 West Layton Avenue, submitted by Dr. Rob Gackerman, Greater Milwaukee. Gackerman. Thank you.
Like, forget the O.
Gackerman. Okay, thank you. Doing business as Greater Milwaukee Oral Surgery, and the landscape and architectural plan for the new construction is also on the agenda at B. Go ahead.
Thank you, Alderperson Kastner. This is actually just across the street on the north side of Layton. And what we have before us is a proposal to demolish the existing building, formerly known as 60th Street Pub, and completely rebuild a brand-new dental office with additional tenant space. This would really complete the corner. We have 3 really nice-looking buildings here, and so this would be the 4th to complete that corner. I think it'd be a great addition to the city. It's a half-acre site. The property zone's C1, which does require a special use permit for dental offices. Hours of operation would be 7:30 to 4, Monday through Friday, and this is a $1 million project for the city and to wrap up that corner there. They are seeking a waiver for building within the front and side yard setbacks. Staff promotes urban, push the building up to the corner instead of having a parking lot. And so that's something that staff's, encouraging the Plan Commission to waive, so that we have a strong corner with a building there. It's about a 4,000 square foot building. The dental office would occupy about 2,700 square feet, and then they'd have an open tenant space of 1,300 square feet. Off-street parking, it's not even a paved lot today. So a lot of great improvements here. 27 spaces would be required for the dental office, 7 for a future tenant. There is technically a shortage on paper, but that's something that staff would encourage the common council to waive, which they typically do waive those parking shortages. Extensive landscaping around the perimeter and base plantings around the building. That's going to be a great looking site. And then they're also proposing a 6-foot high fence along the north property line. You've potential headlights going towards the residential property to the north. There is a residential property to the west, but there's really thick landscaping there existing. So the building will be constructed of a stone veneer, cedar shake style composite siding, 6-inch composite siding, and board and batten vertical composite siding. So a combination of nice materials, stone material along the base of the building on all 4 sides. And I'll give you the pretty pictures here. It's going to be a great looking building from all sides. This is within the parking lot. And then this is the view from 68th Street and Layton, the corner here. So staff recommends to hold a public hearing on September 20th, recommends approval.
It's an exciting building.
Absolutely.
Thank you for bringing it to Greenfield. Any other discussion?
I recommend I'll make a motion to approve. Submitted.
I'll second it.
Did you second it?
Are we gonna fight over it? Take it.
Okay.
I didn't say second.
What did you say?
All right. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none. Motion carries unanimously. Welcome to Greenfield again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Excited about you coming.
Well, really? Are you excited about oral surgery?
I'm excited about the building and potential of more
City looks
beautiful
prettier.
smiles all over Greenfield.
That's a good point.
There we go. Good spin.
Item 10, site and landscaping plans for proposed site modification for Kingdom Hall Jehovah's Witness at existing place of worship located at 12165 West Layton Avenue, submitted by Mark Falk.
Thank you, Alderperson Kastner. This property is proposing interior renovations and some exterior site reconfigurations. This on the far west side of the city along Layton Avenue. The site modifications include removing of some back parking spaces, closing this Squire Avenue entrance here, and removal of some trees, landscaping beds, with the addition of a rear lawn snow storage area to replace that parking, and some new landscape beds and site lighting. So this depicts the modifications, the removal of the parking along the south end, and some new landscape beds within the existing parking lot. Staff recommends, as you can see, there's no curb and gutter. Staff recommends, encouraged by the engineering department to add curb and gutter to this parking lot, additional trees and some landscaping to replace what is removed. Quite a bit is being removed. There's just some details that the engineering department's requesting for design and actual detailed construction of the termination of Squire Avenue, and then relocation of storm sewer manhole. So these are all a lot of more engineering requirements, but this does not obviously require a public hearing. It's just a site plan. Recommend to expedite this to next week's Common Council meeting.
Can I ask why engineering requires curb and gutter around are they not grandfathered in? Do they not have to do that? That's so tremendously expensive and.
I think that it could be grandfathered in. I believe so. It wouldn't be, obviously a new parking lot would require curb and gutter, but I think that it could be grandfathered.
I don't know anything about them as a church. I just know that
expensive.
churches don't typically have buckets full of money.
Right, yep.
And if that's not required, if it's if they don't have it now, obviously, if they want to, it's an improvement, but I just don't,
Yeah, was
personally,
it was it
I
just
just
for
don't like that
improvement,
that's
or was it?
gonna be required.
Let's look at page 21 of the staff report. I think it's addressed there. The proposed site plan does not show curb and gutter around, it's the very last paragraph, around the parking lot per the zoning code, concrete curb meeting city specifications shall be required for all off-street parking areas serving more than 5 vehicles. So, yes, it is stated in the zoning code, but that definitely is something the plan commission and the common council may waive. If the plan commission recommends that, that's something the council can waive.
Why was it recommended in the first place?
We always do.
That's part of
Parents
code,
Control
right?
the water. I mean, I
Yeah.
see why, I see why they
understand
do
that.
it.
That's
but
what I'm saying, is there a water issue
Up
in
till
this?
now, was there a problem?
I don't think,
No.
Are you
that's-
here from,
There's gonna be even less,
Assuming there's no
Parking
water
lot.
issue. I
They're
have
gonna
no issue
step up
waiving
and
it.
say, we don't mind.
so it'd be
I-
not a huge concern,
I don't think any of us are.
yeah.
My name is Jared Roscoe, standing on behalf of Mark Falk, who's been working with Mr. Stern. And there is quite a bit of drainage that's coming towards the site currently from the west. So we're trying to help mitigate that from the neighborhood as well as deal with what we have on our property.
Okay.
So you're gonna remove all the asphalt,
Right, we're replacing the pavement in the driveway, and we're going to put in a swale to help address that water
I
south
see
end.
it now.
Yeah, working with the
Yeah, so
DOT.
there's-
And the storm sewer right now is on the line, why is that being moved?
So we weren't aware, but it looks like it's right below, in that driveway, there's a sewer below the stormwater, which we're happy to move wherever engineering wants us to. We just kind of need a little clarification on where they want it.
So you're okay with that?
Yes.
And you would be okay with curbing the driveway entrance, the throat?
Well, we prefer not to if it wasn't required, but we are making adjustments to the drainage so that it can get off the property but not go into the neighborhood. So we're trying to get it to go in the right direction, and by adjusting the drainage, we're able to get the water away. So we weren't planning on doing curb and gutter unless it was really
yeah, I would imagine
required.
engineering would work with you with the, the pitching and grading and that sort of thing. Our engineering staff who I typically would ask more questions to today is out due to COVID, so I was not able to ask more questions today, unfortunately.
I
Is
think we defer to the
MMSD involved with this?
I'm sorry?
The sewage district, MMSD?
Well, they're actually reducing,
Yeah.
so I don't believe, there's no MMSD requirements, so engineering would have had us put that in there because they're reducing
So-
Okay.
hard surface.
So can we amend this to the point that they would just have oversight working with our engineering? And if they determine to put the curb and gutter on there, all the better. But if they don't need to, then they don't have to.
That was your motion.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how you can record all that as a motion, but go ahead.
I think that's
I
Think you can
I know
get
what you're,
that?
yeah, I know what you're saying. To remove the curb and gutter requirement if possible. Yeah, I know what you're
Where
saying.
possible.
Where
They might
possible.
be controlling the water flow in some instances. I can see where the swale goes, it makes no sense to put a curb there.
Correct. Yep.
But maybe on the top side, and I can't see the whole entire north-south line either, that doesn't make sense. Or the south side,
No, not what you have the grass.
because then
there.
grass is gonna catch the water.
Exactly. Well, I would just
Otherwise,
say-
you're catching it, piping it, and then putting it into a storm. Understood. I think we're all on the same page. If engineering needs to listen to us, they can. Well, re-listen to us to get what we're thinking.
Yep, I got it.
Entertain, that was your motion to approve?
I'll second your
with the-
motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're item 10, all in favor?
Aye.
And thank you for doing your part to make Greenfield a better place.
Opposed, none, motion carries unanimously. Item 11, site and architectural plans for proposed site modification to Ray's Butcher Shop and existing business located at 4640 West Loomis, submitted by Tim Zellner, J&J Contractors, and Scott Pod from Ray's Butcher Shop.
Thank you. This is a simple proposal to construct a storage shed in the rear of the property. It's a 26 by 30-foot storage shed made of vinyl siding. It will not be visible from the right-of-way, and staff recommends approval and to expedite this to next week's council meeting.
Make a motion to approve and expedite next week's common council meeting.
And I'll second.
Any discussion, all in favor?
Hi.
No,
Aye.
They have good meats. It's delicious.
Well, that would be something to discuss, yeah. They have very good food. Passes
Glad you're in
unanimously.
Greensville.
Absolutely.
I don't think you'll get any disagreement
Yeah.
from anybody that knows them, that's for sure.
Turkey's fantastic.
Item 12A and 12B, special use permit for the House of Gypsy and a site review plan for the House of Gypsy, a proposed psychic medium reading business located at 4161 South 108th Street, submitted by Shahadra Morales, the House of Gypsy.
Thank you, Alderperson Kastner. The applicant is proposing to occupy 1,600 square feet of the multi-tenant commercial building on Highway 100. This is the former Salt and Pepper tenant space. This type of use, which falls into a general category of all of the personal services, is required to hold a public hearing and obtain a special use permit in the C4 zoning district. The proposed hours of operation would be 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday. As far as parking goes, again, this is a multi-tenant commercial building. All of the uses combined have a shortage of 18 spaces, but we all know there is no parking shortage on this particular site. Staff recommends approval and to hold a public hearing September 20th.
It is. Not necessarily, no. It is a tough, they are aware that the master sign code is kind of specific on what the sign looks like, I hope. Because it is. Other than that, I got no problem. Does anyone have any questions?
None.
Entertain a motion to approve both.
Second.
I made the motion to approve, and it was seconded. Any other discussion?
Bob?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I think I'll oppose this.
All right.
Thanks. Without any discussion.
Did you get the
One opposed?
one opposed?
One nay.
It is an existing business in Milwaukee that they're moving from.
Moving from or adding to?
Pardon?
They're moving the whole business or they're,
Milwaukee into
okay,
Greenfield.
not opening a second?
Nope.
Okay.
No, we've been in business for 15 years, so we're just moving from Milwaukee to Greenfield.
Okay.
Item 13, architectural, we did vote, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Did all aye, yeah, one nay?
Item 13, architectural plans for proposed exterior modifications to Gordy Boucher Nissan, an existing business located at 4141 South 108th Street, submitted by Chad Chemnitz, professional consultants, and Dan Nine Eyes of Gordy Boucher.
Thank you. This is kind of a repeat of the other Nissan dealership on 27th Street. So this is Highway 100, meeting corporate requirements for the building's exterior finishes, new aluminum composite panels. Kind of a repeat. Here's your before and after rendering. Staff recommends approval and to be expedited to next week's council meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve and expedite to next week's common council meeting.
I will second that.
Is Chad here?
Thank you.
Wow.
Did you want to talk about it?
I know, I just knew your father from, from many years of being here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Item 14, conceptual plan for the local, a component of 84 South development at the northwest corner of 84 South and West Layton Avenue, 8415 Surrey Lane, submitted by Scott Yelk Cobalt Partners.
Nay. Just kidding.
I told Scott, you should be safe coming at 6:30. Holy cow, we are flying.
Sorry about that, guys.
No one's complaining. So we all know, very familiar with the sites. And so this is a conceptual plan. Again, no necessarily voting from the Plan Commission, but feedback is greatly appreciated. The new conceptual plan includes 2 buildings, both restaurant users, including an outdoor event space, and obviously a parking area. So this is as far as I'm going to go, and then I'm going to turn it over to Scott, who I believe is going to introduce a few more people for this evening's presentation.
I did get feedback from the mayor, and I guess more or less, I don't know where he's getting it from, his question, but I think it's more of, is the planning commission willing to amend the sign code to allow signs that hang off the building? That would be more,
I don't know where that came from either, but
you know what I'm saying? Kind of like
Does
have the signage kind of hang off a building to match the Amsterdam look.
like a blade style sign potentially.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Like an
Okay.
We'll take that up if we can in a minute, if that's okay.
I,
God, you guys went so fast, we're not even prepared. This is, when the mayor's here, I don't know what that says about, I'll leave it unsaid. But good evening, Scott Yauch with Cobalt Partners. We're excited to be here. As most of you know, who've been around since the inception back in 2015 of 84 South, this corner was always intended to really be kind of a special corner. We've come full circle with the group that is here. It was one of the first groups we approached. The idea in the name, the local, with the play on words and how we spelled it, of course, was always intended to be just that, something local but special. And we found out that that was a bit of a challenge. We went through COVID, a number of things that challenged it along the way. We've been before you a few different times with a couple concepts. It started out with a cluster of restaurants, and then we had some trouble finding the right users there. We've had no shortage of national type users that wanted to be here, but that's really not what we had in mind, the big chain type uses. So we've kind of held out for the right thing. As most of you also know, during COVID in 2020, we did a Circus 10 kind of beer garden out there, which really was fun. We had a great time. We also learned a lot about kind of what it drew in terms of the crowd and so forth. So, we've learned a lot, and I think that's kind of helped with the plan you see before you. But we did look at a food hall concept. We did have also a brew pub concept that was here, but we're tethered to another location that they really couldn't get out of very readily. So that didn't happen, and I think it was a good thing. So ultimately, we came back to the initial group. Eric Wagner from the Lowlands Group should be here. I told him he didn't have to be here quite yet, so we will turn over in a minute to Matt Fryduk from the architectural firm. We're excited. Again, what's really driven this in 2015 when we proposed this, I think we didn't quite have the momentum. The rest of the development hadn't occurred yet. We're really pleased that we just found out that with the new TID valuations that came out, that the increment now here is $205 million. The total assessed value is $213 million for the development. So when we set out to do this, the initial model showed about $107 million in increments. So it's $205 million. It just went up $17 million last year. So it's good news. We're excited. I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt from the architectural firm. He can maybe answer the question, the signage, although I don't know, Matt, is that a question? Does that mean anything to you or not? It does. Okay. Because we were looking at, signage here when we started. We went a little bigger and bolder than maybe what had been the case with some of the pylon signs. And I know Chuck, your predecessor, was on his transparency machine, and it's still there, right? Yeah, it turns out in hindsight, I think it's really in scale. But same thing here. I mean, we all want this to be a success. I think the community shares in that view. There is some potential signage because you'll find there's 3 components. There's the 2 buildings, and then really the green space is its own third entity of sorts here, so it's intended to be programmed, separately and probably more seasonally than the rest, of course. But some potential with some digital reader type signage would be something we'd like to maybe have the ability to have there in a way that we could kind of advertise what's being programmed on the site. So I will turn it over to Matt, and hopefully Eric will show up at some point. He's on his way, I know, and can also
As long as
answer
we're
any
killing
questions.
time, is it still going to be identified as the local?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, the two.
Because there is another one in Muskego that's. spelled
Yeah, well, I
differently.
mean, we spell it differently, not that that matters. And then with its heritage, there's a locale, Lokaal, which means the same thing. So we'll see. I don't think they finished the branding yet, but, we'll figure that out as we proceed. But I'm gonna turn it over to Eric. Thanks.
Sure, if you want to flip through them. But I'm Matt Frydek with Kabbalah Wishaku Architects. So we've been brought on board to help with Cobalt and Lowlands on the design of this site. Do you have our full submittal? Oh, perfect. So I'll just walk you through information, general information here. When Eric gets here, he can talk a little bit more about the operations and how he's planning on working through the site. But just go to the next one. Starting off with just a little bit of product data or data on the site. So basically, it's two buildings. They're roughly between 8,000 and 9,500 square feet, per building. We've got about 249 parking spaces. There's 18 that are kind of existing that are kind of on the west end, and then we are adding about 231. There's a little bit of hours and operations there. Again, I'll let Eric kind of dive into that more when he arrives. Next page is really just existing site conditions. You guys are all familiar with the site, I'm guessing, but it's obviously prepped and ready for something to happen. And then this is just a first pass through site plan, civil plan. So you can see we've located the two buildings on the southeast corner of the site. So building 1 is where we're showing kind of on the east end, and then building 2 is on the west side. And as was mentioned before, we have this kind of central green space, which is really kind of a third almost kind of entity here in kind of the operations and what they're planning to do. Parking is wrapping up on the north and the west side of the site. We're utilizing existing kind of curb cuts and just kind of working with as much as we can with what we've got there. Architectural site plan indicating a little bit of the monument signage that we're proposing. So we've got something up at the northeast corner right now. That's kind of a main entry, obviously, the 84 South. And then we've got 2 shown right now on Layton. One is kind of on the west side of building 2, southwest corner, and then one is just south of the green. The digital display piece was meant for at the green because that would have kind of events that would change depending on the day, the season, the time of the year. And so I think they're looking for a little bit more of an interactive signage there due to the changes of what's going to be happening in the green on any given day. So we're looking to do a little bit more landscaping, especially with the building 2 concept. There's as we'll get into the architecture of that, that's intended to have a little bit more of a Northwood Supper Club vibe, and so we want to bring a little bit more landscape features into that particular building and surrounding landscaping. The east side, or the east building, building 1, has already been kind of identified, has a little bit of that Amsterdam feel, and so that's had a little distinct feel. So we're trying to create some different areas of feeling within these basically 3 different identities on the site. Breakdown real quick of materials at this point for cladding or exterior materials. Use of high quality materials. So a couple different types of masonry, clay masonry veneer, some stone masonry veneer, metal panel, natural wood, engineered wood products. So we're looking to use some good long lasting, good quality materials here. So talk a little bit about the architecture here now. So this is you're over Layton right now, looking at the site. So the building to the east, that's, as we've described it, as building 1, that has that kind of Amsterdam feeling. So we're going for that kind of canal house feel at the corner. Also get a little verticality there. Those are more or less 2-story volumes. They will be single stories. There's not a second floor in there, but we wanted more height at the corner there. Drop down a little bit in scale and offering some different kind of opportunities for dining within those spaces. So we've got the taller volumes, we've got some smaller volumes. They'll be set up more like sunrooms, and then some spaces in there. You can see the kind of glass roof there. we're looking at that potentially being a true indoor-outdoor type space where, you know, you've got doors and roof panels that can open up and make it indoor-outdoor depending on the season. In the middle of the two sites there, you can see a little glimpse of the green. So part of that will be a lawn space. Part of that will be an outdoor bar with food service. There'll be some seating in there. And then on the very south end of that, we're starting to show the idea of potentially a stage there. So they could have, you know, movie nights, they could have music, they could have other, you know, events thing, and they have a place to kind of host that.
Is it lawn or turf?
We're not at that point yet on detail, but the building on the west side, that's what we're calling here in building 2 here, that's kind of that Northwoods Supper Club vibe, and we're looking for something that's a little bit more of a mid-century modern type of architecture there. So something that kind of fits the theme of what they're looking to do operationally there. So you've got a large volume butterfly roof there, lots of daylight in the main dining room, and then in the other views, we'll see some of the other kind of, you know, architectural elements there. But again, mix of those high quality materials, so clay masonry, stone, you know, metal, wood siding, those types of things. Go to the next view. This is a view of that green a little bit more. So both of the restaurants will have patio spaces that face the green, so they'll have their own kind of adjacent patio, and then the green itself has its own outdoor bar and patio space. So there's really opportunities for these 3 different entities to have different kind of groups of people out there and activating that space. Off the kind of outdoor bar, we're looking at the idea of one of those large, you know, kind of umbrellas, so there's, you know, some covered shade space out there. Adjacent to the building on the west, building 2, the mid-century modern, we're looking at, again, that kind of Northwoods vibe, so we want to bring in a natural pond, some stone landscaping, trees, you know, pine trees, mix, you know, get that Northwoods vibe as much as we can. So. This really gives you the view of the kind of the shared outdoor spaces and then the dedicated outdoor space with the green. This is the main view from the corner, so you can see that 2-story volume of that kind of Amsterdam canal house vibe. So you've got those 2 distinct kind of masses. They have their own slightly different architecture. Both of them are brick masonry, you know, all the way up, and then a mix of roofing materials that have either a shake look or a metal, you know, shingle type look. So, you know, again, trying to look at some of the traditional detailing that we see in canal houses. As you go to the north on that building, that's kind of the back of house, but we still want to bring some light and, you know, activity into that. So we've got some windows into the, you know, kitchen spaces where we can. Otherwise, we've got some articulation in the masonry facade there. As I was mentioning before, we have a range of scales in this building. So at the corner here, as we come around to the green, we've shrunk this scale down. We've got some, you know, this would be kind of visioned as a sunroom, so all those windows could open up. You've got a green roof on top of it, so it's really kind of active, dynamic space that lets, you know, kind of the elements in, the, you know, fresh air and everything. Looking back towards the building to the west and the stage kind of in the foreground there, you see that kind of butterfly volume. So that's a very tall volume, you know, so it'll create a very different kind of atmosphere. Lots of natural light, lots of exposure out to the green, so you get a lot of connection between the 2 spaces. This is the west elevation of the building then. So again, we kind of bring in that mid-century modern. So we've got that kind of low A-frame, that's your entry piece, and the butterfly volume kind of closes itself off. And then as you go to the north there, again, that's kind of our back of house, our kitchen, our bathrooms. But again, we want to bring in some daylight into those areas. Everything's got a certain amount of kind of articulation of the facade that, you know, gives it some relief and shadow and color and texture. Yeah.
Do you, the green area, the green space that is open, right back that, I guess that's a good one, there. Do you think you need more delineation between the sidewalk and Layton Avenue and the patio area?
With respect to
Fencing?
noise, sound,
corralling.
fencing?
High traffic there.
Yeah, corralling the people so they don't flow out into the street. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the goal of some of the landscaping there, and then also the stage component. So we do kind of try to create a little bit of a natural buffer there. Obviously, we also want to maximize visibility so people can see what's going on and they get drawn in and, you know, want to join in. You know, yeah.
And maybe, can I introduce Eric Wagner for a minute before, if you've got other questions on the design, I think you know, it's been kind of a generic presentation thus far, so just, no offense.
Yeah, no,
But
gotcha.
just for him to talk a little bit about, you know, the brand and the concepts that are there, I think that'll help give you some context for the design. So, Eric Wagner? Sure.
Hi, Eric Wagner. Do you need my address and all of that? Oh, okay. I'm the owner and CEO of the Lowlands Group. Thanks for having us. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but just to give you a little bit of color on the concepts that we're looking at, we've been a little bit quiet with it just because we like to keep it quiet because we won't open for over a year. And typically when we do this kind of thing, when the community hears about it, it feels like it's taking forever. And so we like to at least try and control that message as much as possible. But just to let you know, the corner concept would be a Cafe Hollander. It would be our 6th Cafe Hollander. And then the western building, we're going to call the Feisty Loon, which is a new concept we're developing. And it's sort of a younger, more fun cousin of Buckataben, which is our supper club concept in Wauwatosa. So this one would be, we've built that building specifically for this concept. We're trying to get a lot of natural light in there during the day and in the morning. And that's why we're not doing a Buckataben, because we want this to be a big brunch spot, a big lunch spot. And then when the sun ends up in the west, you can see that that part of the building is a lot more quiet from a window perspective. So we want that real cozy feeling that happens at night. And both of these buildings have really been built so that they completely focus on the yard. And that we haven't necessarily come up with a name yet, but it'll operate independently of the 2 restaurants. It will have its own bar on the north end that will have seats sitting at the bar, and then a big outdoor sort of beer garden area, and then an open area that we're still really working on. I think that area is just going to be kind of flexible space. We'll programming it. We'll have bean toss, weekends. We'll have croquet. We'll have concerts. We'll have just a lot of things going on all the time. And we really envision it as, a very real gathering place for the community, and hopefully a place where people come before and after dinner, and kind of, they could spend several hours there and even bar hop along the way. I think that the menus, the Hollander menu will be really consistent with our existing menus. And then at the Feisty Loon, it will definitely have some of the supper club elements where, we're going to do prime rib. We're going to do some of those more high-end things, but we also want it to be a place where people are comfortable coming in jeans and a t-shirt and ordering a burger, and coming more than for special occasions. We want people to utilize both buildings as much as possible. So, happy to answer any questions.
Brandy Old Fashioned will definitely be on the menu.
Oh yeah, yes. With our we have Central Standard makes a brandy for us, so it will.
Nice.
Yep, Buckataben brandy will be there.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, looks great. Love the concept.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've spent the last, I think Scott and I first started talking about this about probably, originally probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. And over the last year and a half, we started talking a little bit more seriously, and we've probably eaten at every single restaurant in Greenfield on multiple occasions. We were just at El Beso. And so we've gotten to know the community pretty well, and we've been really pleasantly surprised by the volumes that the restaurants are doing, and all different kinds. Breakfast places that you can't get a table at 8 in the morning on the weekends, and Mexican places, and steakhouses, and supper clubs, and Italian places. And we think that we hopefully bring something just unique and different to the community that doesn't exist yet. And we're obviously really excited about it. It's a massive investment for us. We have 8 restaurants, and we've done really, really complicated old buildings and that kind of thing, but we haven't done this yet. 3.5 acres, and but we're really excited about it.
Excellent. Well,
Excellent. Very
welcome.
I think we're
Thank you.
excited for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Very excited.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot.
No, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate the context.
Yeah, I said earlier tonight that I was excited about an orthodontist coming to 80.
You missed it.
I'm very excited about this coming, so.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
I do like the multi-generational. I do think the youth in our community is important. And I'll probably say this next Tuesday, but we have senior living. We have a ton of it. We have people of my generation that own homes within our city. And then I'm looking at my children for a place to live and a place to go and a place to go entertain. All three of those people can actually go to this event and feel like they're in their place. I mean, they could congregate here and all feel like, oh, I'm not at grandpa's place, or I'm not at the kid's place.
Right.
And they could all have a pleasant evening by doing that.
I think that is actually one of our specialties, and I think it's also one of the reasons we've had some of the success we've had, especially when we're doing multiple day parts. Cafe Holland, I don't know if this Hollander will be open for breakfast, but most likely it will be, but both will be open for brunch, lunch, and dinner. And in all of our restaurants, you know, we talk about it all the time because people ask me, who's your customer? And there's no way for us to define that. On a Sunday morning at a Cafe Hollander, you're going to find the church ladies next to hungover hipsters, next to a family of four, and then maybe, you know, a couple business people having a meeting. So that's a huge part of what we do. So I also appreciate when people notice that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Eric, can you touch on the timeline that you have in mind?
It's really, really tight, but what we're trying to do is stagger the openings so that we can really do it right. So right now, the plan would be to open Hollander in December of next year. And then the Feisty Loon would open, let's say, in February, March. And really, all of this is geared up to then getting the center beer garden open by like May. And then we've got everything open for the summer.
So that's 2024.
Yeah. So first opening next year in December.
So it'll be open before the convention.
That's the goal.
That'd be a good goal.
That would be a
Because
really.
if nothing else, it'll take the
Right.
load off this downtown area.
Yep. And I think we could have buses coming out here just to find something really unique and different.
You think you could?
Yep.
Absolutely. Do you think that sign is, the one right there that we're seeing right there in the grass is big enough? It's just, we got such a big corner right there on 68th and, or 84th and Layton. Just people parking right there, sitting right there at the stoplight. Really want them to be able to see that sign.
No, I don't. And we haven't spent enough time really focused on that yet. What we're showing is the Hollander building would have signage on the building, you know, very, very similar to what you would see in like the classic cafes in the Netherlands and in Belgium. And then the middle, the stage would be signing the central plaza. But we'd love to have some kind of a electrical sign there saying, you know, live music tonight, polka, you know, whatever we have going on. And then the Feisty Loon would have this big monument, but we're not there yet.
The monument signs are what I'm looking at right here, and then we got the picture of it way back there in the corner. Are they electrical? Are they moving? Are they giving us information about what's happening on the stage?
The one in the middle, I think, is really important too, to let people know what's going on, and just to let people know that, hey, this is activated all the time. There's different things going on. But to be honest, these are really, really generic placeholders. So that's the next step, is for us to put together a much better, thoughtful plan as to how all the signage would work.
I don't know if you're here, when I brought it up earlier, the mayor had a comment that he thought that signs on the Amsterdam-looking building that hung off the building, like a blade, they called it, I don't know.
Yeah.
He had a desire, thought that would fit in there nicely.
Okay, that's great. We've done that
And
in
it's
multiple.
not, doesn't meet our code, so I'm thinking, you know.
No.
No, like an old-fashioned chain coming off and then a sign coming down that would be, you know, visible from.
It's the swing signs you'd see in the old world European.
Oh yeah, no, that would be cool, because a lot of times in these canal houses, what they'll have, you see the windows that we have there, and there's an architectural element that we're not showing. They'll have a huge pole coming off of them, because that's how they get furniture up.
Yeah.
It'd be a pulley system. So I think that utilizing that for some signage would be really cool.
Yeah, I agreed with him. And obviously what you put in those windows is not the same as what you put in Amsterdam.
Right. This is true.
That's a different zoning code issue.
You want everything air conditioned also. That's an Amsterdam issue. They don't have
Yeah,
air
they
conditioning
don't.
over there.
Very true.
But that's separate from what I'm talking about with this sign. That's maybe a moving electrical sign that's telling us what's coming up next.
Yes.
That's right there.
That'd be on the stage.
That'd be on the stage area.
Is that? No, that's the monument sign there, because people sitting on the corner of 84th and Layton, they can't see that sign.
That's very true. Yep,
So we need something right there on the street that people can see.
on 84th. And that's very consistent with what the mayor's been saying too, is to really pay attention to 84th and don't forget about it. Don't pay all your attention to Layton. So I appreciate that feedback, and I think that having something there that is activated would be really important.
Potentially two of the like, really expensive signs.
Yeah, yes.
You guys have done really well with your signage so far. Just make this, really
Great.
want this to pop and make it to work, want it to work.
No, I love the concept.
I think we got a
Good.
positive feed here, huh?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, no, we're excited.
One was so.
We are too.
ran out.
He called up press already to put it in the paper.
He's on the corner waiting for food. Outstanding, very good.
No, thanks.
All right, thanks
Thank you
a
much.
lot. Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're not making a motion.
No.
Everyone's in favor of anyways.
I think so.
Oh, I gotta read
Item
something,
15,
don't I?
Yeah, community development report.
Item 15, Community Development Managers Report. Thank you guys again, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you
Thank
for going to all of our Greenfield restaurants and.
We've enjoyed it too.
Thank you.
I'm just a little confused because you guys went through quickly through hours, so I wasn't sure what happened.
Oh, okay. So the Plan Commission recommended approval, but there's one more meeting that you go to, and that's a public hearing on September 20th.
And there's no way to expedite that, because that would mean we're.
There's
behind.
not, there's a state statute. We have to follow the timeline, unfortunately. Yes, we cannot expedite that. We have to publish it in the newspaper 2 times. There's deadlines with the newspaper that we have to work with. We also have to mail notices to neighbors. So that's a state law that we have to adhere to.
Right, so not, then we'll come back September 20th again?
Same room at 7 p.m.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, I was going to say while Cobalt was here, but they left. But Cobalt has been selected by Brixmor as the future developer of Spring Mall.
What a shock.
So with that being said, let me look at my calendar. They need to move quickly as far as conceptual plan and rezoning because of the timeline that comes with their proposal. It's all contingent upon. And so they will be submitting for September 13th Plan Commission conceptual plan already, and talking about rezoning it to planned unit development. They are having a neighborhood meeting. When they rezone, we send to the 400-foot radius, and I gave them that address list. Having a neighborhood meeting next Wednesday already at Meyer Restaurant at 6:30 p.m. To get feedback, and then they hope to incorporate any feedback with a generic site plan into a conceptual plan that they'll bring forward. So conceptual September, and then I think they're going to immediately submit an official application to rezone. So similar to 92nd and Cold Spring, they haven't necessarily submitted a full site plan, like obviously landscaping, architectural, but an application to rezone in October, public hearing in November, which I think puts them like a week or 2 past their their deadline with Brixmor, but they can work with that. So that's the speedy timeline.
Very aggressive.
Yes.
Is that to be mixed use in Spring?
It would be some sort of mixed use, yeah. And Myers would stay there incorporated. They've had serious meetings with Meyer already.
What are they doing about the residents of Milwaukee? Are they just?
Right. It's not like we don't have ownership information.
No.
We send a notice to the city of Milwaukee because they're within that boundary, and it's it's up to the city of Milwaukee. You know, maybe if you want, we can reach out to the alderperson directly of that district.
Last meeting at the Common Council,
I-
we had an issue that one.
I heard, yeah.
At this point, I don't know if it's that needed, but
We can
Doesn't hurt to share the
talk about it.
I'm, hopefully they'll incorporate the bike trail and interconnect this whole development.
Yeah, they're excited to have that connection with the power line, and you know, I'll connect to their development on 92nd and connect to 84 South. So they kind of view it as the missing piece, and Loomis and Layton, you know, would be connected with the power line trail. So a lot of cobalt, but
100 years from now, they'll just name a street Cobalt Street.
that could be. 92nd and Cold Spring. I haven't seen nothing submitted yet, but I do know they're being pretty aggressive with that timeline as well. And, Loomis and Layton, we expect to issue the permit for the first apartment building and the clubhouse this week, and the office building along Loomis in the next week or two.
Fantastic.
I'm meeting Scott out at the site tomorrow. They've installing the huge underground storage, concrete basins.
The water retention.
Yeah, water retention system
Outstanding.
today and tomorrow.
That's the coolest thing ever. Really, really brilliant.
Yeah.
So I was at the police station multiple times today, and I should say there was a tragic occurrence in the Waukesha Sheriff's Department, and so that got me to our police station today, and just to keep all of our police and firefighters in your thoughts and prayers, and they go through so much stuff. But that's the serious side. The not so serious side is they were all asking me about a quick trip being developed in the old budget theater.
So the developer has had serious conversations with that user, but last I heard, and this is a rumor, because I have not reached out to the developer or owner of that land, is that they withdrew, but I don't know if that's true.
I was asked several times to ask.
They've had serious conversations with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
No, we've definitely had serious conversations, and we allowed the
There would be a lighted intersection.
gold intersection
Yeah.
there for them.
Oh, that's, okay,
That was
okay.
kind of the whole
Right.
gist, and my take is, believe it or not, they don't have a lot of manpower to develop things.
Okay,
Quick trip.
really? Wow, okay.
Doesn't sound reasonable to me, but that's what the owner says.
Seems like a
so.
lot of quick trips to me. I mean, there's the one up
Well,
near National, and West Alice.
I would think we could find something more than a gas station
Right.
there.
That's an expensive one, but yeah, we could.
No, that's just, there's so many of them, I would think we would find a better use for that
All right.
property. That's my feedback.
So you're not upset?
Well, I'm not opposed, I'm not opposed to the idea. I just thought I thought it was a little overkill, because we'll have three kind of in a short period of time on Highway 100. But it's better than vacant land, so.
My theory would be easy for them because they have to deliver every morning to every person.
Well, that's,
You're not wrong.
no. It's been vacant for a long time, and so, okay.
Hopefully pick up, and it'd be nice
What
to see.
about,
And you-
what about the north side of the Layton and Loomis? On Loomis and, what is that, Loomis and the 894?
Uh,
The north side of that?
we lost the potential recreational user that would have been
I heard that
very
today, too.
big regional draw.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think the serious move forward step is light industrial users.
okay. Not as-
Workforce kind of thing, so people can work there and live
Sure,
in a city.
well, we need that. We need a lot of-
We don't have that in
Oh,
Greenfield.
we do need a lot of
We
that.
don't.
I agree. all
The other
playground
user would have
stuff
been
sounds a
really
lot more
exciting,
fun.
but
Playground stuff sounds a lot more fun, but that But that would be really good for us to be developing some area for
Jobs.
jobs in the city, right?
No question.
So, okay. Well, all right.
Did everyone receive my email about the ribbon cutting on Friday?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure you got it.
I'm gonna try to be there. I really want to be there. I'm trying to
I've been-
arrange my schedule to be there for that.
I look at my email about once a week, so.
Point blank.
We can talk about it later, maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Shoot Point Blank, which is now known as Range USA,
8:30.
8:30 Friday morning,
I have it on
if
my
you wish to
calendar.
attend.
I can do attend, but it's on my calendar.
The guy finally had it.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that coming in. I've got men's groups already planning on going and hanging out there.
I plan to be
I
a
got
frequent customer there.
men's group and small groups that are planning on hanging out at that,
Yes.
not at the ribbon cutting.
Gotcha. So you'll
At the range.
utilize the services as the entertainment that
We've
it
got guys that will
is.
be utilizing the service there, guys and gals. That will be.
All right. On to item 16. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
We are adjourned. I suppose I should look at my watch at 7:11.
7:11.
7.
Not bad. Oh, there's no such thing. 7:11. Buck 250 is something.
Yeah. Very good.
All right, good deal.